There's something about shonen anime that makes it stand out from any other type of series out there, and that is the length of how long most of these shows go on for. Although this makes them hard to get into just from the thought of how much time you would have to put into a single show, this is also what makes shonen anime stand out from any other sort of media. It gives us viewers a whole lot of time to fall in love with these many different characters in the world they live in. But let's be honest here, some of our favourite anime can end up having rough parts that are just hard to get through or just completely turn it unwatchable, and if I'm being even more honest, I've experienced rough times in just about every long running shonen that has a rather large number of episodes. For example, I am a massive fan of Naruto and think it's a great series, but putting aside the whopping 40% of filler episodes in Naruto Shippuden, I think there was still some boring moments that were such a drag to get through, mostly pointing at you, War Arc. This is no disrespect to Naruto, I understand it's difficult to keep writing a well written story so frequently and for such a long time. In fact, most of the issues are usually due to the anime's slow pacing and not the actual writers of the manga. Anyways, to get back to the topic, there's one anime that I started almost a year ago now that completely blew my mind and became my most favourite series of all time so fast, and if the title didn't already give it away, that series is called One Piece. Now, One Piece was a weird show for me to get into, and I'm not just meaning by the now over 1,000 episodes that would prevent me from being near the presence of grass more than I already lack, which is probably the biggest reason why people refuse to start watching the show. But this wasn't this for me, as I had recently at the time got through the 720 episodes of the Naruto series and also tortured myself for the 200 episodes of the filler hell that is Boruto. So that is altogether 920 episodes of the same series and stupidly sitting for every single bit of filler. I think you get my point that to me the number of episodes isn't really the worry. In fact, the truth was that I didn't know a single thing about why One Piece was so good. I knew it was one of the biggest selling manga in the world, and I had read about 6 volumes when I was around 11 or 12 years old that I did seem to enjoy, but didn't think it was much different from your typical shonen. It wasn't until last year when I was 16 that I finally decided to begin my journey in the crazy world of One Piece. In this video I'll be talking about the moment that made me fall in love with the series and truly attach me to the characters and fascinatingly massive world they adventure through. I will most likely talk more about One Piece if you guys enjoy the video, so if you do, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help motivate me to put more time into writing scripts and edit videos. To begin, One Piece starts in the East Blue Saga, of course getting introduced to the main protagonist Monkey D. Luffy and the first 4 members of the Straw Hat crew, Zoro, Nami, Usopp and Sanji. Throughout these mini arcs it was fun to watch these characters interact with each other and absolutely take no smack from anyone, especially Luffy. But this was only the beginning, so compared to what happens in future arcs, there wasn't really any mind-blowing moments that could compare. Well, at least for Arlong Park. Arlong Park is where I tell people to watch up to before judging the series, because I feel like it shows how great the writing can be compared to other shonen, even though it only gets better up ahead. So, let me explain why this is the arc that dragged me into One Piece. Now, as much as I hate to say this, a lot of shonen anime that I've watched have had a really big problem with their female characters not being very well written, like, again, for example, Sakura and Naruto. And although Oda gets complaints about his 2 melons and a stick design on the female characters that only gets worse post time skip, I honestly don't think he's sexist in any way, as he actually puts so much work into the backstories for Nami and Robin, which genuinely made me love these characters. The whole focus of Arlong Park is the character Nami, who before we never knew that she had such a heavy burden on her back and trying to save her whole hometown and why she despises pirates so much. Her backstory is still to this day one of the most ones that have hit me emotionally. When Bellemere straight up took her life just for the sake of not being able to keep it a secret that she has 2 adopted children because she wouldn't be able to pay the full price of 200,000 berries to keep her family alive and together, it really showed how much she cared for Nami and Nojiko. They literally all could have lived. Bellemere had enough to pay for herself, and Nami and Nojiko would have been able to escape the sea, but the fact that she would rather die than say she doesn't have family actually made me cry. Especially when her final words to them were,
大好き。
What makes the backstories Ichiro Oda gives his characters so great is that although they can be very dark and make us feel for the characters, it also gets us rooting for Luffy and the rest of the crew, so we can satisfyingly see these sinister villains be beaten to a pulp. And that brings me to the Luffy and Nami scene. After Nami failed attempting to stop her village from basically walking into certain death by trying to defeat the Arlong pirates, Nami kneels on the ground, stabbing herself on the arm multiple times where the Arlong symbol is, as she screams his name in grief and anger. I was totally not expecting this. It honestly just hit me even more. I was praying for Luffy to appear in this moment, and he did. At first, Nami was telling Luffy to leave because she obviously didn't want anyone else she cared about getting hurt, but he just stood there waiting for her to let it out and ask him to. Before this arc, we already knew Luffy was a great character, but here is where I got so much respect for the character. He places his treasured straw hat onto Nami's head, showing to her that she is trusted by him and has his respect. Then walks back and shouts, watching this the first time through, I honestly think it was the most I've ever been invested into a show. Luffy completely changed this scene from a sad mood to being hyped just to see the crew beat up the fishmen who hurt Nami. As a main character, Luffy is perfect. Instead of telling people he cares and respects them, he shows it by putting his all into helping them when they are in need. We see this throughout the entire series, and that's what makes him so lovable. Next, we have the walk to Arlong Park scene, and I cannot stress enough how much better this moment is in the anime. Speaking genuinely, the main theme of One Piece would probably be the song We Are, since we see it come back in many big moments, but to me, the soundtrack in this scene is the main theme for me. This is because when I think of One Piece, it's usually the first song that comes to mind, and it's also just so badass. I love it so much. I'm not sure what the actual name of the song is called. I'm just going to assume it's Overtaken, since mostly all of YouTube calls it that. Might not be the official name, but we're just gonna go by that. Anyway, Luffy, Zoro, Usopp and Sanji all finally get together to head on their way to Arlong Park to take him down, and it's scenes like these that show how cool the Straw Hat crew are. After watching this, I only hoped for more badass walking scenes of the Straw Hat crew, which there is, although they aren't common. It's worth it when they happen. To end things off, I'm not going to go for the entire fight because this video would go on forever as much as I would love to. Instead, we'll focus on the finale. While Luffy is fighting Arlong inside the room Nami used to draw the sea charts in, we get this really heartwarming moment where Nami notices that Luffy is purposely destroying everything in the room for her to realise that she is now free from Arlong's clutches. You could say that Luffy should have kept the charts to help them travel the seas since Nami worked so hard on them, but it was better to destroy the memories she had linked to Arlong so she no longer had to remember what she went through while working with him. Then after hitting the final attack on Arlong, we get this beautiful scene with Luffy saying, to conclude, still to this day, Arlong Park is one of my favourite arcs, and I am currently just finishing Dressrosa, so I think you can understand that I've seen enough of One Piece to prove that I think this is an outstanding arc to me. It creates one of the best pairs in the Straw Hats, Luffy and Nami, because in the future of the series we see them become closer, of course in a friend way, which to me is really sweet compared to Sanji and Brook simping for her all the time, since let's face it, Luffy is asexual. Even though Ichiro Oda only gets better with his writing over time, I feel like this arc is what made One Piece so special compared to any other shonen at the time, and is why I say if you want to see if you like One Piece, at least finish this arc. That is all I have to say for this video. If you enjoyed it, again, please leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it since these scripted videos take a long time to write and edit. Also, let me know in the comments if you enjoy these types of videos and want more One Piece content, and let me know what moment got you into the series. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.